Here we're going to tie a fly called the Pike bunny. First thing we're going to do is just start our thread. Then we're going to tie in a piece of 20 to 30 pound stiff monofilament using Rio hard alloy saltwater mono here. It's nice and stiff, nice and thick as well. We're just going to tie that in, let it hang off the back of the hook. We're going to tie in a clump of about 6 or 7 strands of red Krystal flash right on top of the shank of the hook. Tie it right in the middle of the section, and then I double over the front part. Just keeps it from falling out. And I'm just going to let that also hang off the back of the hook. Then I'm going to take a piece of Magnum black zonkered rabbit strip, and I'm going to take it and stretch it. This will make the hide nice and straight. It's not always perfectly straight when it comes out of the package, so I just give it a good tug. Now we're going to tie this in right on top of the shank of the hook. Now you can make this rabbit strip as long as you want, depending on the size you're tying. Usually I make mine about 4 inches or so. I'm going to pull that rabbit strip up. I'm going to poke a little hole right in the middle of it, about 3/4 of an inch up the strip. I'm going to take my monofilament and I'm just going to find that hole, feed the monofilament through it. And what I'm going to do is pull that monofilament tight, kind of kink it a little bit right at the tail. Pull it tight, and I'm going to wrap it down. You can see now how it's keeping that tail up. What I'm going to do is take this Krystal flash and just trim it the length of the tail. And I can trim out that monofilament. And I'm going to make sure I have a nice little transition here to the shank of the hook. Just build up a little bit of a thread ramp. And I'm going to take my thread all the way back again. Now I'm going to take a piece of Crosscut black rabbit. You can see there how it lays down to the side. I'm going to tie this in so that the fibers of the rabbit face back onto the hook. That way we can make a nice collar. And I'm going to take my thread forward. I'm only going to take it forward a little more than halfway. And we're going to take this rabbit strip and we're just going to wrap a collar with it. Just one wrap right in front of the other. And I'm going to pull it nice and tight as I get up on the shank of the hook. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it a little bit thinner. That way I can make a nicer tie off by really pulling on it and stretching it. And then I'm just going to cover up that little tie off point. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our thread and we're going to wrap back up onto this rabbit strip a little ways. This will be the spot where we tie on our eyes. Also help kind of push this collar back, make it lay down nice. I'm just building up a little bit of a head here for those eyes to sit on. I like to use nice big eyes on my pike bunnies. I think that the pike find that eye and use it kind of as a target to eat their prey head first. Pike eat a lot of spiny fish, perch, and other bluegills and things of that nature, so they eat their prey head first. I think they use the eyes to line it up. So once we've got a little transition built, I'm just going to take our whip finish. Now the easiest thing to do here is you can see the rabbit kind of splays up a little bit. I just lick my fingers good. I'm going to take it all get it to lay back. This way, when we're using our clear cure goo or our UV nuts or our fly finish, those fibers don't get in the way too much. Get them all out of the way. There we go. Now the next thing to do is just take your eyes. You're just going to stick them to the side of the head there. Try to get them as even as you can and get them to stick. Once we've got them lined up, I'm going to take our fly finish. Usually my first splotch of it's going to be right in the middle of the top portion of the eyes, and all I'm doing is using this to fill in the gaps and also hold the eyes together. I just use my light to zap them. Then my next coating here will be on the underside. I'm just going to fill up the gap on the underside in between the two eyes. And these first few little coatings don't necessarily have to be perfect. They're more just to fill in the gaps and keep the eyes in place. And once you've gotten those done, now we're ready to kind of really coat the eyes, kind of finish things off here. So what I'm going to do is just add it all the way up here to the head. I'll do a very thin coating around the eyes, both sides. And I'll zap that. Then I'll finish the underside and I'll just kind of tie it all together. Bring it all the way to the front and then tie it into those eyes. And you got to be careful not to overdo it and go too crazy with the glue. I just really try to coat everything. It's more to protect and keep everything together. Once I have it all coated, I'll just zap it. And usually what I like to do to completely finish the fly is I'll actually set it out on a piece of foam out in the sun, let it bake for a few minutes, and that's really the best way to cure the clear cure goo or the UV fly finish, is to let it bake out there in the sun. And that's all there is to a basic pike bunny. You can find all the materials for this fly along with recipe information at intherifle.com.